Well, good morning, Texas. I'm Brett Shipp in the Dallas studio. By now, almost anyone with a social media account in this country has seen the video of the Plano mom in a parking lot, verbally, then physically assaulting a group of women of Indian descent in a vile, obscenity-laced and bigoted attack. Now, the full video is about 5 minutes long. We've condensed it to 30 seconds because 30 seconds is really more than enough. Here it is.
Why did you walk up to us to talk to you? We were minding our own business.
Indians, that's why. Oh, these Indians, they come to America because they want a better life. You Indians are everywhere. I'm Mexican, and I paid my
What? Why would you come and talk to us and make a racist
camera off.
Don't touch me. Listen.
Oh my God, guys, record. She's hitting me. She's hitting me. Oh my God. Oh my God. God, phone off her. I swear to God.
There at the end, she's reaching in her purse and she threatens to shoot the women. I'm not going to mention her name because it's not what matters right now. What matters is how we got to this point in our society where we threaten to kill immigrants because, well, they don't belong here. And where would we be without our ability to whip out our phones and record these tirades and then post them on social media? Has that become the best way to exact justice these days? Because that woman's reputation was sentenced to life long before the cops showed up at her door yesterday. The folks at the Southern Poverty Law Center know a lot about hate and how to address it and how hard it is to arrest it. It's interesting now to hear them say this about social media justice.
When people taking video and taking photos of what's happening and exposing it and showing that this is shameful, we do need more accountability. We need to bring back the shame for people to understand that it's horrifying. It's horrifying. Other people don't agree with this. So in a way, in a strange way, it's hopeful. I don't want ill things for her, but I, hope that she learned a lesson out of this.
And more importantly, we should all hope that anyone harboring hatred toward humans because they don't belong here, we hope those folks learn a lesson from this too. Back to you. When I was growing up, there was an old B-grade Western drama starring Chuck Connors called Branded. Maybe you remember it. The opening credits featured a dramatic scene from an Old West Army outpost where Connors is disgraced and branded a deserter. The captain strips him of his Army epaulets, his buttons, he rips open his coat, he snaps his saber in half, and he kicks Connors out into the desert. It's classic stuff. So I thought about that Western drama yesterday when I got a press release from the Collin County Sheriff's Office. It features a mugshot of a jailer, young Tyler Moody, a guy who wrangles inmates for a living, a worker bee who did something so terrible while on the job, so heinous a deed, he would be fired and arrested on the spot, scolded and shamed by the sheriff himself, lawman Jim Skinner. And it was all dramatically captured on video. Watch this.
So let me just make it easy. You're fired. You're no longer an employee here. You understand? You've betrayed the trust of every citizen that we have the privilege to serve. And you've betrayed the trust of the brave and selfless men and women that you worked alongside for nearly 3 years. So as of this moment, you're under arrest.
Chuck Connors in Branded, Moody was ordered to strip off and hand over his standard issue blue corrections officer shirt before being cuffed and detained. Justice served. Well, if that video hasn't gone viral yet, then perhaps the sheriff's media guy should be cuffed and frog marched as well for poor performance, because this was no B-grade Hollywood drama. This was top shelf, made for TikTok stuff. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the jailer's transgression. He loaned a cell phone to an inmate. That's a third-degree felony. And even though the jailer confessed and resigned, the sheriff says the investigation is ongoing. Branded indeed. Good job, Sheriff Skinner.
Be affected by this. Brett, good morning. Tell us a little bit about what they told you.
Yeah, hey, Lissette, this is a pretty big story here in North Texas. You can call it the clash of the healthcare titans, UT Southwestern and Blue Cross Blue Shield. And the main event is next Tuesday if a contract settlement is not reached. In one corner, Texas Health Resources together with UT Southwestern Medical Center and its massive healthcare network. In the other corner, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the largest insurance carrier in Texas. Now, UT Southwestern is asking for nearly $1 billion bump in payments over the next 32 months. That would mean a dramatic increase in premiums and copays for Blue Cross Blue Shield subscribers. Now, talks have been at a stalemate for months now, and the current contract ends next Tuesday. Best case scenario, patients in North Texas will be faced with a sizable budgetary hit next year. Worst case scenario, hundreds of thousands of patients will either have to pay out of pocket or find new doctors. Stat: one North Texas man and his wife, a Texas school teacher, they are petrified. Watch.
The mental, emotional stress is uncalculable. The amount of sleep that they lose, not knowing, what this is possibly my life that I'm dealing with. Do I try to find somebody else, get all my records? Can I get them in time? The mental stress, I think, really causes even more physical harm than, in many cases, the actual ailment.
Now, some experts say now there's no need for alarm, that this is the typical show of brinkmanship and bluster that comes with any high-stakes contract negotiations, that both sides will meet in the middle before next Tuesday. The problem is we're dealing with vulnerable patients here, some with tenuous or even terminal conditions who at this moment don't have anywhere to turn if a settlement is not reached. This isn't exactly the athlete and the owner waiting for the other one to blink. Lives are at stake, and the adults in the room should act like it. It could have been a catastrophe. It bothers me when newscasters come on and say that. It sounds alarmist and cliche. So this morning, I'm not saying it. I'm saying this. Certain disaster was prevented in Austin this past weekend at Bergstrom Airport when the pilots of a FedEx cargo plane went above and beyond. Actually, they went up and around another jet that was allowed to take off just as they were landing. There are few words to express how close to disaster we really were in Texas last Saturday. But it's important we try. It's important we find out why this happened and never let it happen again. The full story of the catastrophe that could have been, coming up on Spectrum News 1.
Are going up and up throughout the day. Brett, what are the latest numbers that you're seeing?
First of all, do you guys get a break?
You're so sweet to ask. We were actually literally right before we came on just talking to our managing editor, Justin Burton, about getting some snacks. So we are being taken care of.
Either get you some snacks, give you a break, or get you some really top-end diapers, because you guys are...
Diapers are expensive, Brett. I got to save that for my 6-month-old.
Come on, man. Come on. The lights are out upstairs for you.
Noticing, we all get a break, but you guys. I want to congratulate you on your heroism. It's suddenly silent there. They're taking a break, everyone. I'm going to talk very quickly about what's happening. Normally, when we see a severe weather event across the state of Texas, we're always talking about the grid. We're not talking about the grid today. We're talking about isolated outages, and we're talking about this map, the Power Outage US map, the blue Texas. And there we have it. 12 million customers. At last count, there are 251,000 outages across the state. You see the color palette of counties stretching from south central Texas all the way up to northeast Texas. Lots of yellows, lots of oranges, lots of bright greens. That means those are power outages all across the central and northeast portion. of the state of Texas, all due to heavy freezing rain that fell overnight, continuing to fall in many spots in East Texas as it moves very slowly to the east. We're most concerned right now about what's happening in Travis County. At last check, 130,000 people without power, 128,000. That is almost 20% of the Travis County population without power.